All right, for segment 2 today, I'm going to talk to you about combat, how to do fisticuffs combat, unarmed combat in Palladium, in the Palladium system. And I focused on Heroes Unlimited. I did that because, first of all, I don't do riffs. I don't have any animosity towards it. It's not a game I do. And I felt it was the most robust book. Hopefully you guys can see this as I put it up here. I felt that, this book is probably the most robust book of the SDC system. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm an after the bomb guy, but I felt that this book was actually more appropriate. It would cover more things and do things we want. Now, with that said, this is the Palladium combat system, and not everybody's going to like what I have to say, but I'm doing it by the book. So please, for the love of God, keep your well-actuallys and your homebrews out, because it took me 4 days to go through this and verify all the information in there. And I'll catch you all on the other side of the little commercial break. Role-playing games thrive in fantastic worlds and at inclusive tables that embrace these core values for the most positive gaming experience. Donate to the Wounded Warrior Project via the link in the description below to help, honor, and empower our wounded heroes. On Thursdays and Saturdays, watch Heathen Dog's Dirty Casuals play multiplayer video games over on Twitch. On Sundays and Fridays, join us for tabletop role-playing game content on both YouTube and Rumble. Finally, please take a quick moment to like this video and share it with both your friends and on social media. If you have not done so, please subscribe to Legion of Myth and activate that bell icon to receive notifications of new content.
Ow.
Well, I'm a big liar. What's that?
Why is that purple?
Why is what purple? What's purple?
That's everyone tell me what color this is. What do you see, Max?
It's blue. It's the only thing I changed was the font.
Okay. I see purple. Heroes Unlimited is barely visible.
Black to purple. I'm seeing on both of my monitors here, I'm seeing black to blue.
Okay. Well, this Darth Theek sees blue as well, but I see purple, and Timothy Farrelly sees purple, and Walter sees blue. Okay, maybe it's just a couple folk. All right.
Yeah, orange text on a blue-black gradient. That's perfect. That's exactly what it is. All right. So, well, I kind of lied because apparently there's no present option over here when I shrink it down. So I've just got my screens are foobarred, but that's fine. So we're gonna cover this. So it's Heroes Unlimited Combat in the Palladium Books Megaverse. I probably can do this with the no. So again, as I said, I'm going to cover simple 1v1 hand-to-hand combat. And if you see me looking over there, that's actually where I have my slides. I have my notes in front of me. We have two characters. They're entering a ring. It's like an octagon, almost like an MMA fight. And that's right. We have Tank McMuscles. Oh, he's ready. He's a big guy. Think of like the Hulk, just, not in steroids or radiation. I tried to make things as baseline as possible for this. So if you can see, all his attributes are 11s with the exception of 2 24s, one in physical endurance and physical strength. That was important for this test. I wanted to have two disparate characters. And so I went there. They're both 4th level. His special skills are he has hand-to-hand basic, wrestling, athletics, and bodybuilding. So those added to that. I did not do the bonuses to the attributes, but I did do the bonuses to hit points, SDC, and things like that. So what are his attacks? He's got 5 attacks per round. Why? Because he's level 4 with hand-to-hand basic. He has a +4 to roll. I should have actually completed that. Roll with punch fall. He has +3 to parry and +3 to dodge from hand-to-hand basic. And because of his wrestling, he has body block tackle, crush squeeze, pin incapacitate, and karate style kick. All right. Johnny Quicksilver. That's right, Johnny Quicksilver. He's going to be his opponent. This is a little Bruce Lee looking dude or something, right? So again, now with him, I went with physical prowess and speed. Speed really doesn't matter, to be honest with you, but I went physical prowess and speed. So with that physical prowess, and naturally, just with his own fisticuffs, just with his own natural ability, he gets +5 to strike, parry, and dodge. He's also level 4, but he has hand-to-hand martial arts and boxing and gymnastics, because why not? So, he's a little ninja dude that gets in the ring and does some, junior bouts out there. He has 6 attacks per round, +2 to his initiative roll, +6 to his roll punch fall impact, +7 to strike, +8 to parry, and +8 to dodge. Kind of better, isn't he? He's got auto knockout and natural 20, and this is from boxing. He's got karate kick that does 2d4 damage, a roundhouse kick that does 3d6 damage. Martial arts is your friend. And he's got a knee attack and a wheel kick that he can use as well. Now, one of the things I want to say is that knee, for example, is one of those things that I never see people use in the game. Why? Because it takes an action, does 1d6 damage, and that's it. A good game master is going to say something like, well, you want to do a wheel kick, but you don't have the room for it. That's when the knee attack comes into play. All right? But it takes a game master to do something. So, again, MMA-style fight. We are in the octagon. It is 1 versus 1. They're squared up. There are no surprises, no long-distance attacks or anything like that. Now, one of the things I want to mention, I have it in the description. And if this is a video later on, I'll have it in the description there. GM Cody ran through a very quick scenario for Palladium Fantasy with Bear the Gen X GM, where they just went through some very basic combat round with some goblins. If you want to check that out, I will put the link to his video in the description below, because he did a very good job. Now, his is more organic. Mine's more scripted out. His is more organic, but it just kind of shows how simple Palladium combat really can be if you let it be. So let's get to round 1. We have initiative. So since this is our introductory combat, to get used to the basics of the Palladium system, this fight isn't going to include a lot of imagination. It is 2 unarmed men in a ring ready to duke it out. Oops. Whoa. Hey, there. Stay there. Since it's a stand-up fight between 2 prepared participants, no long shots or sneak attacks, we'll start with step 1 on page 63 of Heroes Unlimited, 2nd edition. That's right. This book right here. Bop. And we're going to determine initiative. Tank McMuscles rolls his D20, because you roll a D20 for initiative, and gets a 19. Johnny Quicksilver rolls a D20 and gets a 3. However, if you remember, we talked before about he has a +2 to his roll, so he gets a total of 5. Still doesn't mean 19. So, Tank acts first. So let's go to round 1. Tank knows he's fighting a skilled opponent, so he works to his strength and charges low and forward to attempt to tackle Johnny with what is known as a body block tackle attack. Tank rolls his strike, which is D20. Now, when you roll to strike in Palladium, you roll a D20, and he gets a 13. Any roll to strike greater than a 4, so a 5 or better, results in a hit. So let's get to the first inconsistency with the writing. To paraphrase and simplify, the body block tackle attack inflicts 1d4 damage and has a 60% chance to knock a target down. Question is, can the target parry, dodge, or either? Ethan Dog.
I would say dodging is appropriate, because parrying wouldn't work, because he's throwing his entire body at you unless you are so significantly stronger than his body weight. Blocking is just going to knock you down.
All right. You are right, and you are wrong.
Of course.
So the answer is, it depends on which page you read. On page 67 in the body block tackle description, it only refers to dodge. However, on page 56, under the wrestling skill, it mentions parry or dodge. And since I know football players have the stiff arm ability, and I was taught how to change someone's momentum in Kung Fu, Johnny has martial arts, I'll go with parry as an allowable option. But really? Did you read page 67 or 56? Welcome to Palladium Books. But don't quibble over these inconsistencies. Don't be a rules lawyer. Simply do what makes sense for your table and situation at hand. In the end, like when Heathen Dog was covering the Call of Cthulhu and the Keeper's decision is final, well, the GM is right. Now, since Tank rolled a 13, Johnny Quicksilver needs to parry or dodge, or he's going to take damage and is probably going to be knocked down. Johnny knows he's faster, and he's the arrogant type. And it's early in the fight, so he decides to be a douche nozzle and use one of his actions to perform a cool-looking backflip to dodge Tank's body attack. Now, why can he do this? So let's back up. He's got the choice. Once Tank attacks, he's got the option to dodge, parry, or entangle. Well, this is basically just a dodge to start. He's like, I'm going to dodge this. But he's got the gymnastics skill. And gymnastics allows you to do a backflip dodge. So he's, again, being his arrogant type, he's going to do that. Now, also the difference between parry and dodge is that parry does not take an action because he has a hand-to-hand skill. We're not going to have two weirdo Mortimer Snurds going out there like this. No, we've got people who know how to fight, so they can do automatic parry. But he wants to dodge. He's using the action to dodge, so he decides to do a backflip. Well, Johnny rolls an 18 to his backflip. 18 is higher than 13, so his gamble pays off. Johnny dodges Tank's attempt to tackle him. Now, you might be saying, hey, Max, you forgot to add in his bonus to dodge. I did not. When you roll a backflip, you don't get the bonuses. You roll naturally. So, for his own attack, Johnny follows up this maneuver with a quick snap kick. So this is the fluidity of the action in Palladium. Tank's attack. Johnny has done his defensive maneuver and now gets his attack. All right. So he decides to do just a quick snap kick. This is a low damage kick used in tight quarters. So there we go. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. He could have kneed him, whatever. He does this to make the Tank think twice about, staying within grappling range. Tank knows he's stronger than Johnny and can probably take more punishment. So instead of dodging or parrying, he elects to make a simultaneous body block tackle. I've had people tell me you can't do a simultaneous attack that's body block tackle. I couldn't find that in the rules to say, no, you can't. Now, does it kind of make sense that you can't? Sure. But the rules don't say you cannot. It just says you make a simultaneous attack. And this is a by-the-book, step-by-step analysis, not a house ruled. We'll do that in the next video. The next video is going to talk about inconsistencies, continuity issues, house rules, other takes, we'll just say, but this is straight by the book. So
do you have a slide that shows the simultaneous attack?
Yeah, in just a moment.
Okay.
So this means, but with the simultaneous attack, this means that Tank makes no attempt to avoid Johnny's attack or damage. So he's taking the kick right to the noggin or wherever in order to get in there and grab Johnny. All right. So it makes his attack indefensible. By taking the automatic damage, it makes his attack indefensible. He will grab Johnny as long as he rolls a 5 or higher. So he's going to soak the kick in order to use his big body to ruin Johnny's day. Ooh, there we go. So Johnny rolls his d20 and gets a 2, which normally indicate a miss. However, Johnny's high physical prowess and martial arts training provides him a +7 bonus to the roll, which means his total is 9. Remember, 5 or higher hits, so 9 hits, right?
Sure.
Because Tank declared a simultaneous attack, he cannot parry or dodge, so there's no defensive roll here. Johnny rolls a d6 and gets a 4, so his snap kick hits for 4 points of damage to Tank's structural damage capacity. So Tank takes 4 points of damage. Tank barely feels the kick while he charges at Johnny to tackle him. That does replace, good. Tank rolls a 17, and that's gonna hurt. Again, because of a simultaneous attack, Johnny cannot dodge or parry. Tank is a big, strong guy. He only rolls a d4 damage for die damage, right? Sure. For body block tackle, but he adds 9 to the roll because of his strength. Tank rolls a 1 on the d4 and adds 9 for a total of 10 points of damage to Johnny's structural damage capacity, or SDC. Johnny's feeling that blow. Oh, but wait, we're not done yet. Body block tackle has the additional effect beyond just damage. Since Johnny couldn't dodge or parry the attack, there is the possibility he's knocked down. Luckily for Johnny, he's a gymnast who's good at staying on his feet. As a level 4 gymnast, Johnny has sense of balance skill at 62%. He needs to roll 62 or less on percentile dice to remain standing. Johnny rolls percentile dice and gets a 0-4. He easily remains standing. With that said, he did take 10 points of SDC damage and still loses an attack. That's the other part of body block tackle. Can damage you, knock you down, and make you lose an attack. And yes, I looked it up. Even if you resist it, you still lose an attack. So let's move on. So we're at the end of round 1 phase. When Doug and I talked about this, he's not a fan of the term phase, but everywhere I look, that's what people call it. I'm going to go with it since that's kind of just what's out in the public sphere. A phase is basically a 1 round around the table, because melee round is 15 seconds and you have multiple attacks per round. A phase is kind of one turn around the table. But let's see what happened, because a bunch of things happened during that. So that was one set of attacks and reaction rolls. And again, we talked about the phase thing. Tank started the melee round with 5 attacks. He used 2 of them. Both were attempts to tackle Johnny. This means he has 3 attacks remaining this melee round. Johnny started the round with 6 attacks. He used 1 to backflip away from Tank's first attack, 1 to kick, and lost 1 due to the secondary effect of Tank's successful second attempt to body block tackle. This means Johnny also has 3 attacks remaining this round. The most notable feature to me is that in terms of Palladium melee rounds, this was only 1 attack followed by another attack, yet the characters used up 3 of their attacks. Well, I'm sorry, 3 and 2. This is how the action-reaction sequence of Palladium works. You know, I used to have a problem with Palladium with that whole a 5 or better hits. Really? You're never going to miss. But when you consider you're supposed to be parrying, which does not take an action, and let me say this louder because I want the hate crowd to get out there. Parry, if you have a hand-to-hand skill, does not take an action. Period, exclamation point, end of story. And we'll talk about that in the next video. Dodging does take an action. So you have to give and take. What does you want to do? You can't dodge. You can't dodge a bullet, and you probably don't want to try. I'm sorry, you can't parry a bullet, and you probably don't want to try to parry a sword with your arm. That's called taking damage. So both our fighters still have attacks available to them this round. So we're still in round 1, and since the simultaneous attack is a defensive action that replaces parry or dodge, we're back to the top of the initiative order with Tank McMuscles. Tank knows that because of Johnny's agility and training, his chance of winning a striking fight with a smaller man is dicey. So once again, he elects to try to fight in a manner that's advantageous to him. He declares a grapple or a body hold attack, something anyone with the wrestling skill can do. Now, do you see why I gave them gymnastics and wrestling? Mm-hmm. I wanted to show off what some of those abilities are, while still keeping it a basic one-on-one fight. Tank rolls a 19, which, again, will hit Johnny if he doesn't defend. Johnny elects to parry Tank's attempt to grab him. This does not cost Johnny one of his attacks because anyone with a hand-to-hand skill, such as his martial arts, can parry automatically. Johnny's physical prowess and martial arts training provides him a +8 bonus to his roll to parry. He rolls a 6. Ooh. Plus an 8 equals 14. Unfortunately, by the way, I did actually roll all this stuff. Unfortunately, 14 is not equal to or greater than 19, so Johnny's attempt to parry fails. Additionally, because Tank has the wrestling skill and his D20 roll is a natural 18, 19, or 20, Tank can choose to incapacitate. I can never say that word. I always say incapacitate. What the heck is wrong with me? Incapacitate Johnny. Now, let me stop right here. I want to say that sentence again to get people spun up. Tank can choose to incapacitate Johnny. This, yes, is a house-ish rule that I will, and it's because of how the language of the game is written. I've had people argue with me over the last 2 weeks while I've been putting this together. Next video, we'll go into why my rationale says those exact words. If you play it differently, you play it differently, okay? So just bear with me until the next video. Tank declines the incapacitation, but does have Johnny in a hold as he prepares to squeeze the smaller man. And that's a nuanced difference in the language that I'm going to again talk about in the next video. The incapacitation versus a body hold versus a pin versus a grapple versus yada yada. Okay. Before Tank McMuscle starts his squeeze, Johnny gets his action to try to break free. I mean, again, you get a defensive action. To break free, both men roll a d20 and add their physical prowess, not strength, prowess. So this is effectively your dexterity. For Johnny, this is a +5, while Tank gets, well, nothing. Oops, there we go. Johnny rolls a 3 for a total of an 8. Tank rolls 14. Unfortunately, Johnny remains in the body hold.
It's bad news for Johnny.
What's that?
Bad news for Johnny.
Bad news for Johnny. You've basically got the Hulk holding on to you. All right, so we're at the end of phase 2, round 1, phase 2. What are we at? The end of phase 2, each combatant has used one more attack, which reduces both of them to 2 attacks, remaining for the melee round. And we'll go back to the top of the order again. Hey, slide. Doop. Since Tank still has Johnny in the body hold, he decides to squeeze the life out of Johnny. It's pretty much an automatic. I mean, Johnny was not able to get away, right?
Sure.
So Tank gets to deal damage. Tank rolls 1d4 and gets a 2. After adding a strength bonus of 9, that's 11 SDC points of damage to Johnny. Johnny is not feeling comfortable right now. Now, one of the things about the Palladium combat system or the Palladium characters, they have SDC, which is structural damage capacity, and hit points. SDC is like vitality, luck. It's kind of like the old school D&D hit point system. When you get into actual hit points, then you're taking serious, like, life-threatening wounds. So at this point, Johnny isn't suffering broken bones necessarily, but he's certainly not comfortable. He's probably short of breath. He doesn't like doesn't like what's going on. That's for sure. Muscles are hurting as he's trying to twist himself out, etc. Now, unfortunately for Johnny, he can't do anything but try to break the hold. That's literally the only option he has available to him because he's in a hold. So once again, he tries to break the hold. He just took a lot of damage. He does not want to do this again. So they both roll their D20s. This time Tank rolls a 3, and Johnny rolls an 18 plus his physical prowess bonus of +5 for a total of 23. After initially being crushed by the larger man, Johnny slips free, and he's very thankful for that. That's what it looks like when a wrestler fights a kicker. So once again, at the end of round 1, phase 3, each combatant used one more attack, which leaves them both with one attack remaining in melee round number 1. Once again, let's go back to the top of the initiative order for Tank's next attack. And Johnny just broke free from Tank's hold, so he just decides to lunge at Johnny with a big old fist to punch him. Tank rolls his D20. Again, this is how you roll a punch. You roll a D20, add in your modifiers. Tank has none. Johnny attempts to defend the punch by parrying it, which does not use up one of his attacks. Parrying is free. Johnny rolls a 5, but he gets a +8 bonus because of his martial arts skill and his physical prowess, which matches Tank's 13. Ties go to defenders. So Tank gets a 13. He's like, yeah, gotcha. Johnny also gets a 13. Johnny's like, no, you don't. And he parries it. Johnny follows up his parry with a karate punch. Remember, Tank attacked, Johnny reacted. Now Johnny attacks, because we're going in the circle, and Tank gets to react. So Johnny decides to attack with a karate punch. Johnny rolls an 8, and he gets a +7 for a total of 15. Now, Tank would love to attempt another simultaneous attack, but he's out of attacks. But yeah, he only had one attack remaining. And he used it up just a moment ago to try to punch Johnny. So the only thing he can do is try to parry. Because why? Why can he parry, Heathen Dog?
Because if you have a hand-to-hand skill, parrying is free.
There you go. Tank rolls a 5 plus his parry bonus. Oh, do I have that on there? I don't have that on there. Sorry. Tank rolls a 5 plus his bonus of 3 from his hand-to-hand skill, and total becomes 8. And 8 does not meet a 15, so Tank does not parry Johnny's attack. Johnny rolls 2d4 for a total of 7 points of SDC damage to Tank. All right.
So that's the end of round 1.
Yes, it is. So
and Johnny is not looking good.
Oh, we'll see how this goes. Here's what I'll tell you. In case you want to skip to the end, this round goes into the third round, but only into the first action of the third round. So you have one full round left, and then something after that, and then it's over. So, and if you know anything about Palladium Books, each melee round is 15 seconds. This is about a 35-second fight. And it's not even a full MMA round. And it's over. So, at the end of phase 4, neither fighter has any attacks remaining. That's how you know it's the end of the round. Tank McMuscles took 11 points of SDC damage from a kick and a punch, while Johnny Quicksilver took 21 points of damage from a body block and from being squeezed.
Almost double.
Almost double, yep. So we're 15 seconds in. How long is an M? It's 3 minutes for an MMA round, right? Anyway. Yeah. So let's hit round 2. Oi! Top of the round. So the first thing we want to do is roll initiative again. Tank rolls his D20, gets a 4. Johnny rolls a 3, but remember he gets a +2 to his initiative, so his total is 5. Sorry, Tank. Johnny goes before you. Johnny decides it's time to stop showboating and start fighting like he knows how and wants to land a devastating blow on Tank. So he opts for a roundhouse kick. One of the stipulations of performing a roundhouse kick is that the character cannot perform any other kicks during this melee round, so he better make it count. On the other hand, cheeseball time. Tank realizes his greatest assets are his strength and his ability to take damage. He knows that Johnny is a better toe-to-toe fighter, with more attacks, higher bonuses, initiative, martial art training, and so forth, plus boxing, right? But he believes he can overpower Johnny with pure brutality if he can hit Johnny, so he decides his best chance is to weather all of Johnny's attacks, his fists of fury, so to speak, and continue to use simultaneous attack option. So, Johnny does the roundhouse kick, rolls a 16 with his +7 bonus strike. This totals 23. Well, Tank feels reassured in his decision to be a cheeseball because he only has a +3 to parry. That means he would need a natural 20 in order to parry or dodge Johnny's roundhouse kick. So as Johnny lands his roundhouse, Tank reciprocates with a standard karate kick of his own. It's a kick for kick. For his simultaneous attack, Tank rolls an 8. 8 is equal to or higher than 5, which is good enough to hit. Remember, Johnny cannot defend because it's technically Tank's defensive move, although it does use an action. He's just using his defensive move as an attack during Johnny's roundhouse kick attack. It's literally simultaneous. So let's look at the damage these two fighters do to each other now. Johnny rolls 3d6 for his roundhouse damage and gets a 10. That's pretty darn good. I mean, it's in the average range, but I mean, 10 damage with no strength bonuses, that's a pretty good damage attack, right? Well, Tank rolls 2d4 for his karate kick and gets a 3. Plus his 9, he pounds Johnny back with a 12. So, ouch. So Johnny knows that Tank's massive hit hit him like a freight train. So he decides to spend one of his attacks in an attempt to roll with the kick to reduce the damage. And this is a feature of Palladium, what you do is you roll initiative, then you attack, try to dodge or parry. Then if you don't, you take the damage, but then you can possibly, depending on the type of attack, and fisticuffs is one of the types of attack you can do, you can choose to roll with that attack, basically soak up some of the damage, use the leverage against it, avert it, and only take half of it. So Johnny needs to roll an 8 or better to successfully roll against a kick. Do I have it on there? Yes, I do. Johnny rolls a 15, add the +6 bonus from his physical skills and hand-to-hand martial arts for a total of 21. Well, guess what? 21 is greater than 8. So we reduce Tank's damage from 12 to 6, and Johnny's going to need that because 12 is a lot. So now we're at the end of round 2, phase 1. Any comments so far, Heathen Dog?
No.
I mean, without getting into rules adjudications?
No. I mean, it's going well so far. But I don't like Johnny's chances at the moment. But yeah, doesn't look good because of that cheesy simultaneous attack nonsense.
Yes. Yep. Oh man, the people when I was talking about that argue that it makes sense, and I'm just like, I get it makes sense in nuanced circumstances, but as I'm using it here, I would be angry. So, yeah. All right, so Tank is clearly in command of this fight at this point, and since he's going to continue to exploit the game rules, I'm just foreshadowing for you here. He's going to continue to exploit the game rules to cheese the simultaneous attack option. Johnny's going to need some serious luck to win this. So let's keep going through. I'm going to show you some different types of attacks and so forth. That's why we're going to continue on here. So Johnny has 4 attacks remaining in round 2. He's stuck in a ring with a monster of a man and needs to find a way to mitigate the simultaneous attack option. Well, it wouldn't be fun to have the scenario of them just two dancing around. We're not going to do that. So we're going to just continue on with the fight and have them just duke it out until the end. So let's see how this shakes out. Johnny cannot perform another kick this melee round because I did the roundhouse kick and we're still in round 2. So he simply attempts to karate punch Tank. Of course, because it's to his advantage, Tank will just, simultaneous attack. It's boring rote nonsense. Johnny rolls. I have it there. Johnny rolls to strike and gets a 14. Plus 7 equals 21. He then rolls 2d4 to deliver a whole 2 points of damage. 1 and 1, baby. That's right. I rolled those dice. 2 points of damage. He went to Tank. Tank rolls to strike with a 17. His damage roll is also 2. Sounds good, right?
Hey.
No. Plus 9.
Nope, plus 9. Yep, forgot about that. Yep,
Plus 9 to his strength. 11 points of damage to Johnny. Once again, Johnny decides to use one of his actions to roll. Remember, that rolling with punch, fall, impact, or rolling with kick, as I did it last time, takes an action. You have to kind of focus on, I don't want this to hurt me. So he decides to use one of his actions to roll with Tank's punch. Johnny rolls a d20 with a result of 7. Even with his plus 6 bonus, total of 13, Johnny fails to roll with the punch. There we go. Sorry, I didn't have that side up on the screen. Fails to roll with the punch, so he takes the full 11 points of damage. So looking at the screen, just to make sure we recap there, Tank decides to simultaneous attack with a punch. He rolls a 17. He rolls his damage of 2 plus 9, which is 11. And then Johnny tries to roll, but he needed to beat Tank's roll to strike of 17 and did not do it. He only got a 13. So he is reduced from 21 to 10 SDC. How many more punches do you think he can take?
Not a lot.
1. I mean, remember, Tank's damage bonus is plus 9.
Yeah.
So as long as Tank rolls 1 point of damage...
Well, he's also got, 11 hit points? Oh, no, 11 plus 3d6.
Yeah, I would have to scroll back up to the top. We'll see it at the end. So now Johnny has an even bigger problem because Tank has more attacks remaining this round. Says he has more attacks remaining and I just end the round? Hold on. What happened? Did I screw up again? 4 days. 4 days to get this right, and I may have had a screw up. Well, we're going to go to the top of the round. If I missed an attack, I apologize. It usually tells me here. So end of round 2, 1 attack for the karate punch, 1 attack for the roll with punch, 2 attacks remain. Oh no, we're in phase. I'm sorry, this is phase 2. I'm not reading my own writing here. So Johnny's obvious advantage of 6 attacks per round is meaningless when he fails his roll with punch, fall, impact. Because remember, he's attacking, and then he doesn't want to get hurt. That's two actions or 2 attacks right there. Tank is just simultaneous attacking for 1 at a pop. Not wasting an attack on dodge or parry or anything else. So my apology for the mix up there, but we're actually right here. So knowing that Tank won't waste an attack against Johnny, that Johnny can easily dodge or parry, and knowing that he's stuck in the ring with a larger man, Johnny just recklessly decides to be aggressive and hope for the best. He's just going to go, no, he's not. He's going to do it in a Bruce Lee style, but he's just like, I'm done. We got to end this soon. I'm not going to throw in the white towel, because if I did that, then this video would be over and we're not going to do that. So with a roll of 6 plus 7 for a total of 13, Johnny punches Tank once more, this time dealing 8 points of damage. There you go, Johnny. You went from the 2 last time. This time you figured out how to punch, right? Tank's simultaneous punch is another 17. He rolls 3 for his damage, so that's another 12 points. How much SDC did we say that Johnny had?
11 plus
10.
10. There you go.
Yeah. So he takes 12 points of damage. Well, Johnny knows this will put him into hit point damage, so he uses his last attack this melee round to roll with the punch again. Johnny rolls a 10, adding in his plus 6 bonus, total 16. Once again, he uses an action, but is unable to roll with the punch. He takes all 12 points of damage. This is bad news for Johnny. He has 10 SDC remaining, but he took 12 points of damage. This means his SDC is reduced to 0, and the final 2 points are subtracted from his hit points. Now he's suffering real wounds and real damage. All right, end of phase 3. At this rate, Johnny isn't going to make it, right? He's starting to suffer vital hit point damage. And part of the reason why I wanted to continue on with this is because I wanted to show what it means to suffer hit point damage, which can cause life-threatening injuries. He needs to turn the fight around, or he's going to soon be in some dire straits. I think you can, know where this is going to go. So let's go back. Oops. I didn't have... Oh, no, we're in phase 4. Why am I doing that? We're in phase 4. It's back to Johnny's turn in the initiative order, but he has no attacks remaining. So what do you do in Palladium when you don't have attacks, but your enemy still has attacks?
Go down the initiative order.
Yep, so we just bounce right back to Tank. Johnny's just SOL. On the other hand, Tank still has 2 attacks remaining. Knowing he has Johnny on the ropes, he uses his next attack to perform a karate kick. Even though he has no attacks remaining, Johnny can what?
Parry.
He can still parry because it doesn't cost an attack. Johnny rolls a 5 with his plus 8 bonus is only a 13 Johnny is not good at this. Actually, Tank rolled really, really well. Let's be honest. Tank was rolling 17s and 19s, right? So Johnny does not parry the attack, and with no attacks remaining, he cannot roll with the kick to mitigate the damage. He's taking it all.
Which could be his death.
It could be his death. Tank rolls a 4. Plus, is that on there? Yes, it is. Tank rolls a 4 plus 9 for a total of 13 damage. At this point, there are optional damage rules on page 19 of the Heroes Unlimited 2 ebook that I like to employ, so we're going to do that. Since Johnny took more than 10% of his base hit point total, which is like, what, 3? In damage from one attack, Johnny rolls percentile dice and refers to the minor injury table. Well, he rolled a 67. Which states damage hand and or wrist, -1 to physical prowess, -2 to physical strength, and cannot lift more than 10 pounds with that hand. The character is -10 on all skills that require the hand. Well, right now, we don't do skill rolls. We don't do percentile skill rolls in the ring. So really, the only thing that he has to worry about is -1 to physical prowess and -2 to physical strength, which doesn't matter for our purposes. I rolled left hand, and the injury is going to last for a D4, and he rolled a one day. So I mean, it's hurt. Tomorrow it'll kind of heal itself if he gets it wrapped up. But so but you can see that he's starting to suffer meaningful, but still minor in the grand scheme of things, true internal damage. Okay. So we're at the end of round 2, phase 4, and let's move on to round 2, phase 5. Once again, Johnny can't do anything, so Tank is just going to keep trying to beat on him. Tank is ready to finish this fight and makes one more kick for his last attack in the melee round. Hey, look at this. Johnny got lucky. Tank rolls a 1. Hey, Heathen Dog, are there fumbles in Palladium?
Not that I'm aware of.
There are not. You are correct, sir. You are right. There are no fumbles in Palladium, but Tank does not have a bonus to his roll since a roll of 1 to 4 is a miss. Johnny survives round 2.
Amazingly so. Pure luck.
Pure luck.
Well,
There
no.
we go.
He had 20% chance, right? 18, something like that. He had a double-digit % chance to survive because any successful hit would have killed him.
Yep. So we're not 30 seconds into this fight, and Johnny isn't looking good. He has a mangled hand. If he continues to take damage, especially from someone as massive as Tank, Johnny risks severe injury. Look at that. Tank still has 29 SDC. That's SDC available. Johnny has 0 SDC and only has 10 hit points. All right. Well, I told you we're only going into the first phase of round
3.
Round 3. So let's do this. All right, let's move to round 3 and roll some initiative. Tank rolls a 1. That's a double 1 in a row for Tank. Johnny rolls a 10, but he receives a +2, so his total is 12. Johnny goes first this round. All right, hold on before I put anything on the screen here. Because I've already rolled the dice, and I know the outcome of the phase 1 actions. To avoid confusion and to keep these events organized and coherent for the presentation here, I'm going to discuss all of Johnny's actions first. Then I'm going to switch over to all of Tank's actions. Just understand he's still cheeseballing. It's still simultaneous attack, but there's a lot that's going to happen here, and I don't want to bounce back and forth. I hope you all understand that, all right? Normally, you would be rolling this and then that, and then coming back to this and coming back to that, but let's organize it. So Johnny's pretty sure this is his last attack before Tank puts him out of commission. There's no saved by the bell when you're only 30 seconds into the match, and he knows that Tank will simply wait and make that time simultaneous attack. Again, it's a cheese ball maneuver. With that in mind, he chooses a power karate punch. A power punch is an all-out, put everything into this, I've got it punch. The benefit is you double the number of damage dice, not total. And that was a distinction I had to look up, and I found it. A power attack damages the number of dice. The drawback is that it uses 2 of the character's actions, so make it count. And this is something Heathen Dog and I are going to talk in the next video, because we both have a different way of handling attacks that cost 2 actions. And we'll talk about them there as to what our rationales are or why or whatever. So, So, Power Karate Punch is a single attack that costs 2 actions, so let's roll the dice. Johnny rolls a natural 20. And when this happened, I had to contact Heathen Dog, because remember we had that conversation. I was like, okay, hold on. There's a lot of stuff going on here, because I actually rolled that die. In Palladium games, a natural 20 is an automatic critical strike. I stress the word automatic because it's going to come up when you guys start arguing with me later. Critical strikes double the damage of attack, both dice and bonuses. Notice that the power attack is just dice, but the critical attack is both dice and bonuses. At your table, do what you want. Everything here is as by the book as I could find in here. Okay, so Johnny doesn't have any bonuses, so he simply rolls double dice. A karate punch is normally 2d4 damage, so a power karate punch is 4d4 damage. Johnny rolls 9. Oh, that comes into something I just realized I didn't do. So I did a power.
Double the dice again.
Well, right, but you know the rule on that. You don't actually double the dice again. You add one more die to it. That should have been 5d4 damage. So why is that? Let's back up. Now I'm off bullet points here, off script. But so he does 2d4 damage, right? Well, a power attack does 4d4. Well, when you get a power attack and a critical, well, you do all. Oh, that's a good point. When you stack criticals,
the way Palladium goes is that if you have multiples, like if you have ×2 and ×3, or ×3 and ×4, you don't add them together and get ×7.
Right.
You add, you take the highest multiple and add 1.
Yes.
So with this one, it would be ×2 and then ×2. Well, that would be 2 + 1 is ×3.
Yeah.
Technically, it should be that. So it should be 3 times the dice, not an extra die.
So 60. Okay, 64. Got it. Yeah. 64. Yeah. Okay. So I did that wrong. Yeah. Anyways, we'll pretend I didn't. We'll just give him his power punch damage. And so we'll say that he got. No, see, this is why the knockout worked. No. Anyway, I'm telling you, 4 days, people, 4 days, and I still made a mistake in here.
Hey, you know what? I suffered through character creation in
Champions.
All right, so this is your medal, right? This is your test.
So, all right. So the karate punch number 2. So we're gonna go with the damage that I put here. Just know it should have been 64, not 44. So additionally, Johnny better be happy I screwed up, because I forgot he could kick again this round. Because honestly, I would have opted for another roundhouse kick. Why not? It's his strongest attack, right?
Sure.
Had I remembered, though, then he wouldn't have got the knockout. Why does this matter? Because Johnny has the boxing skill, and he used his fists for the power punch. The boxing skill on page 55 states, skilled boxers will automatically knock out opponents on a roll of a natural 20 when fighting with their fists. The victim of a knockout will remain unconscious for 1d6 melees, so 1d6 melee rounds. Tank has nothing to lose at this point, so he decides to roll with the punch to lessen the damage, because there's also something he can get from that. Successfully rolling with a knockout punch means the character takes double damage, but is not knocked out or stunned. Tank would win. Right now, you see he's knocked out, right? He would lose. But if all he has to do is stay on his feet, and he wins.
Yeah.
Since Johnny rolled a strike was a natural 20, Tank must also roll a natural 20. Doesn't matter what your modifiers are. If you roll a natural 20 on the attack, you have to roll a natural 20 in order to resist. Tank rolls a 15 with his +4 bonus that totals 19. However, the bonus doesn't even matter because he needed a natural 20. This means Tank is automatically knocked out for 1d6 melee rounds. He rolls a 6, therefore he's knocked out for 6 rounds, minute 30 seconds.
That's the end of the round. Ding, ding. That's a KO.
Well, no, it's not. Because that's all well and good. But remember, Tank's attack happens simultaneously with Johnny's.
It could be a double KO? It
could be a double KO.
Okay.
So Tank, this is why I said I'm separating the two, because there's all of that for Johnny.
Tank, so we now know Tank's fate.
Yes.
Tank is going down. He's going to be counted out, and that's going to be it. Johnny's going to win. Although, because of the cheeseball simultaneous attack nonsense, it could be a double KO fight. So let's see if Johnny can survive the onslaught.
Tank's attack. He decides he wants to do, he's got hand-to-hand basic. He can do a karate kick at level 4.
Sure.
All right. So he rolls an 11 for a simultaneous karate kick. He then rolls 14 points of damage. He rolls a 5 on 2d4 plus 9, 14 points of damage. This will put Johnny in a coma-like state if he does not successfully roll with punch fall impact.
It has.
Well,
He
guess
hasn't been
what?
lucky with that so far.
Yeah, he's not been lucky with that. But we're in a new round. He at least has actions to try.
That's true. That's true.
Of course, Johnny is going to use one of his attacks to roll with the kick to reduce the damage. He rolls a 12 plus his bonus of 6 for a total of 18.
Good job, Johnny.
He successfully rolls and only takes 7 points of damage. However, once again, this is more than 10% of his base hit points. So it causes him another minor injury. He rolls an +1 this time on percentile dice. Minor bruises and lacerations, -2 to speed, -1 to dodge. And this will last.
Happening now.
Well, yeah, right. This will last 1d4 days. So I'm sorry, 2 days for him. He rolled a 2. So he's gonna have a wrist problem for 2 days, and this kick kind of messed him up a little bit. And it's
problem.
Yep, for 2.
Got his bell rung.
Also, since Johnny now has less than 25% of his total hit points remaining, he suffers a more serious injury.
Of course.
He rolled a 76, which states puncture. Is that on here? Oh, no. Let's get that on here. There we go. Punctured lung.
Oh, my God.
-4 to physical endurance. Reduce attacks for melee by half and speed by 80%. Furthermore,
okay, now anyone's crying a punctured lung, foul. No one use a weapon. No. He's into hit point damage, which means a rib broke and punctured his lung. That's exactly what happened. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens.
And if you don't think that things like this can happen, remember, this is MMA fight, and these are two very disparate. I mean, look, the one guy had is it called supernatural strength when it's 24?
I would say exceptional.
Yeah, exceptional strength. Okay. I mean, the dude is a monster. He's at the literal peak of the human condition in terms of strength. So, Johnny is not. Also, you look historically, Ray Boom Boom Mancini killed a North Korean boxer. Is it North Korean? No, South Korean boxer. I'm sorry. Killed a Korean boxer. So things like that can happen. And, when you keep fighting after getting your bell rung, here you go. And this injury is going to last a week. So, ouch! Johnny may have lessened the damage from Tank's kick, but it still messed him up. But who's standing?
Well, who's swaying?
Fair enough. So let's
How
take a
many
look.
hit points does Johnny have left at the end of this thing?
Well, let's take a look at this right here, and I'll show the character sheets at the end too. Johnny Quicksilver has 5 hit points remaining. If you look on there. All right. So, and I put 0 attacks per melee round because he's knocked out. He doesn't get to attack. But Johnny's down to 3. Remember, he had 6. He's down to 3. All right, so Tank McMuscles. Do you see all the orange on there? That one hole, he's down to 20 SDC. Not even into hit points.
Nope.
This dude is doing fine, except for he got that glass jaw or whatever. He just got hit and
got hit in the temple just in the wrong way, or an upper, or that what was that? It was a regular punch, right? Or was it a karate kick? Whatever. He got hit in just the right way.
Yep.
Turned his neck just the right way, and he went out like a light.
Johnny's
going to the hospital.
Johnny's going to the hospital. Physical strength down by 2. Physical prowess down by 1. Physical endurance down by 4. Speed down by 19. Because
wait a minute. His PE is down by 4.
That's from the punctured lung.
Now, does that affect his total hit points?
I didn't do that, and honestly, it would have only reduced him down to 1. It would have reduced him down.
It's still down to 1. Okay, all right.
Yeah, he'd still be up, but it would have reduced him down to 1. And yeah, speed. So his hit points, he's at 5 hit points, 0 SDC, and over here you look, he's got 3 attacks per round. His dodge is down to 7.
Yep. So
technically Johnny won, but did he?
That was a Pyrrhic victory in my book.
Oh, yeah. I hope you weren't playing in another tournament. So our next video, I'm going to go through all the people yelling at me in this video, but I don't care. I'm telling you, I looked all this stuff up, and you're not going to win this fight. But the next video, we're really going to dive into the stuff where people disagree. We're going to talk about the knockout versus the critical hit. We're going to talk about the wrestling moves, because I indicated I had to do something with that, because the write-ups are just ridiculous. Simultaneous attacks, why it's stupid. Multi-action attacks is something that Heathen Dog and I disagree on how to handle them. And even on the Palladium Gilded server, there's even more options over there that people have. How to handle movement before the new TMNT comes out, because that's actually going to clarify it. And parrying. There's a misnomer out there where people seem to think that there's something written somewhere that says you only get a number of parries per round, up to the maximum of your number of attacks. It doesn't take an attack, but if you have 7 attacks per round, you can parry 7 times per round. And to this day, I'm still going to say, I challenge you to find that. And one source not to cite, the Palladium fact, and we're going to explain why in the next video also. So let's give me my question. Tell me.
So let's give you stuff. First off, L says this is WWF versus MMA. It is, but when he posited this scenario to me, the thing I thought of was Hulk Hogan versus Sylvester Stallone in, what was it, Rocky 3?
3.
Yeah. The beginning fight in Rocky 3. That's the thing I pictured.
Timothy Ferrelli, I did cover dodge. It was the first thing that that Johnny Quicksilver did. He just did it in a different way. He did the backflip dodge.
Yep, backflip dodge. Then we have Kokoshuko says wrestlers get more options. Yes, if you have the wrestling skill, you get a whole lot more options at the level you get the wrestling skill. Now, you can get many of them in time through levels, through hand-to-hand combat. But with wrestlers, you get all of the grapples and holds and all that stuff to start right off the bat. Yep. So it's highly advantageous at lower levels.
Now, but boxing has its own advantage. Extra attack, like tell me that isn't important. Yeah, and knockout. Yep, absolutely.
Knockout. All right. Law Dog says Johnny dodged. Doesn't he lose his next attack? It should be Tank's attack after the dodge. No, the way Palladium is, if you use a reactionary, if you use action as a reaction, you don't lose your next initiative. You lose from the total number of actions you have in that melee. Yeah,
you don't. It doesn't take up your next attack. You simply use an attack to do it.
Total. Yep. It takes from your total. So basically it takes from the end. Yep. All right. Let's go to the next one. Timothy Ferrelli says, question, wouldn't Tank's hold be 30, 19 plus 11 PP?
His physical here, let me bring it back up. I'll show you. I have to go. Actually, I can do it right here. If you look at Tank has a PP of 11. So he had no bonus. His physical strength.
He had the bonus. It looks like Timothy is talking about adding his stat.
No. It's the bonus. It's the bonus for it.
Bonus only, and he had none. So go to the next one. Kokoshuko comes up again and said, no fumble for a 1? Nope.
Not officially.
Nope. Under the rules, there is no fumble on a natural 1, and the only overall benefit to a natural 20, the double damage is optional unless it says so in your martial arts or in whatever. But the only real benefit, base benefit you have for a natural 20 is that to beat that, the defender has to also get a natural 20 to parry or dodge or whatever. That's the real benefit. Now, if you have a higher level hand-to-hand, which natural 20s give you this, or you have boxing, which natural 20s give you this, then that's added on. But you have to have the proper skills for that to happen.
And we're going to talk about holds in the next video.
Yes. Then Carver 6661313. I think this is his first time posting. Thank you very much. If someone is simultaneously attacking and it's working for them, it's not cheeseballing. It's the one that's still not learning.
It's cheeseball. That's bullshit.
Okay. No, you know what? No, it's by the rules. So I'm not crying foul. All right. I'm not crying foul. I'm not whining about this. All right. It's a tactic. It's legal, and he's using it in a legal way. I got nothing to say except I think you're a bitch. That's all I can do. You're not wrong, but I think you're a bitch.
It absolutely is cheeseballing in the spirit of combat. No, I'm not saying that every single instance of it is. I'm saying that I'm just going to stand here and do the same thing over and over again. Yawn. That is.
No, it's legit, but it's just being a little bitch.
Yeah.
And then we have Walter saying, power attack is called critical strike, so it does damage ×2, and the 20 criticals it again, so it does the damage again. A critical power strike does time. That's what I said. It goes from ×2 to ×3. So instead of being 44 or 54, it should have been 64.
Yeah, that was my mix-up because I was focused already that it had doubled the damage. I remember what I was thinking because, like I said, I talked to him about what was going on during that time. I completely forgot to add in the extra step because long story short, I doubled it knowing that I needed to double it. I forgot to do it again. You can say it's because of the power attack or the critical or whatever. It's just right. I forgot that step. 100%.
And we caught it during the thing, so that's good. That's good.
Yep.
And that is it.
Okay. So there we go. I wanted to keep this on the screen because of that last, that bottom thing. The Palladium system is not an encyclopedia of rigid rules. It is a framework that allows GMs to tailor the game to their vision. And that's going to be important as we go in the next one. As all the pedants are going to come out and try to explain to me where I'm wrong, and I'm going to tell them that they're idiots in the next in the next video. So stand by. If you want something a little more cantankerous and emotional, kind of like the old days of RPG Digest, come by for the next video.